From hidden continents to climate extremes, this nation is a living laboratory of the planet's most dramatic processes. We're about to dive into 50 facts that will completely reshape your understanding of these islands. Prepare to be amazed by a place where fire and ice coexist, where mountains are still rising, and where the landscape feels both ancient and brand new. Let's start with the most fundamental fact. New Zealand is the visible peak of a mostly submerged continent called Zealandia. This is a game-changing piece of geography. Zealandia covers nearly 5 million square kilometers, yet 94% of it lies beneath the Pacific Ocean. The islands we know are just the highest points of this vast hidden landmass. It broke from the supercontinent Gondwana around 85 million years ago. This makes New Zealand not just an island nation, but the guardian of a sunken world. This isolation had profound consequences. New Zealand was one of the last major landmasses settled by humans. Its remote location kept it hidden for millennia. The first Polynesian explorers arrived only around 1300 AD. For context, the Egyptian pyramids were already ancient in history by then. This recent human arrival explains the unique and fragile ecosystem. Life evolved here in complete isolation for 80 million years. The result was a world dominated by birds, not mammals. The sheer remoteness is staggering. Australia is its closest neighbor, yet it lies 1,300 kilometers away across the Tasman Sea. This distance is equivalent to the length of Great Britain. To the south, there is nothing but open ocean until Antarctica. This isolation created a life raft ecosystem. Species survived here that vanished everywhere else. The geography acted as a perfect natural preserve. Now let's talk about the dramatic clash of landscapes. New Zealand straddles the boundary of two massive tectonic plates. The Pacific Plate and the Australian Plate meet here in a colossal geological battle. This collision is pushing the Southern Alps upward at a breathtaking rate. These mountains are rising faster than almost any other range on Earth. They grow about 7 millimeters each year. This might seem small, but it's a dramatic rate in geological terms. The Southern Alps are a record-breaking range. They contain over 3,000 glaciers within their slopes. The largest is the Tasman Glacier. It stretches 27 kilometers through the heart of the South Island. These icy rivers are remnants of the last ice age. They carve and shape the mountains even as they rise. This creates a landscape in constant flux. The mountains grow upward while the glaciers carve them down. Let's head to the central North Island. Here you'll find one of the planet's most intense volcanic zones. The Taupo volcanic zone is a hotbed of geothermal activity. It stretches from Mount Ruapehu to White Island. This area contains every type of volcano known to science. It's one of the most active volcanic regions on Earth. The lake at its heart, Lake Taupo, is itself a volcanic caldera. Its eruption around 232 AD was the most violent on Earth in the last 5,000 years. The geothermal wonders are endless. Rotorua is a city built within an active volcanic caldera. The smell of sulfur greets you everywhere. Here you can see bubbling mud pools in public parks. Geysers shoot boiling water high into the air. The Pohutu geyser in Wakarawarawa can reach 30 meters. Hot springs heat homes and public pools naturally. The Earth's power is on full display here. Now to the South Island's west coast. This is one of the wettest places on the planet. The Southern Alps force moist air upward from the Tasman Sea. This creates phenomenal rainfall on the western slopes. Some areas receive over 10,000 millimeters of rain annually. That's enough to fill a 4-story building with water. Just 100 kilometers away, in the rain shadow, some areas get less than 500 millimeters. This creates desert conditions near mountains. The country's coastline is equally dramatic. New Zealand has over 15,000 kilometers of coastline. If you stretched it out in a straight line, it would reach from London to Sydney. The coastline includes every possible formation. There are towering cliffs, golden beaches, and hidden fjords. The Fjordland region in the southwest is particularly stunning. Its fjords were carved by glaciers during the ice ages. Milford Sound is the crown jewel of Fjordland. Though called a sound, it's actually a fjord. It features mountains that rise sheer from dark water. The most famous is Mitre Peak, which climbs 1,692 meters straight from the sea. The area receives staggering rainfall, creating countless waterfalls. Some are temporary, appearing only after heavy rain. The permanent waterfalls like Sterling Falls are still magnificent. Let's discuss the unique water bodies. Lake Geological in Fiordland is the deepest lake in New Zealand. It plunges an incredible 462 meters deep. That's deeper than most of the surrounding mountains. Meanwhile, the largest lake is Lake Taupo in the North Island. It covers 616 square kilometers, a vast volcanic caldera. Its sheer size creates its own weather patterns. The rivers here are equally impressive. The Waikato River is the longest in the country. It flows 425 kilometers from Lake Taupo to the Tasman Sea. What's fascinating is its journey. It passes through multiple hydroelectric dams. These generate a significant portion of the nation's power. The river also feeds the Huka Falls near Taupo. Here a massive volume of water thunders through a narrow gorge. New Zealand's climate zones are astonishingly diverse. You can find subtropical forests in the north. The Bay of Islands has a warm, temperate climate. Yet just 1,000 kilometers south, you find subantarctic conditions. The southern tip of the South Island shares a latitude with Patagonia. This range of climates in a small country is unmatched. You could surf and ski on the same day in winter. The country's latitude creates long summer days. In December, the sun rises before 6 a.m. and sets after 9 p.m. In the far south, twilight can linger until nearly 11 p.m. Conversely, winter days are much shorter. This variation in daylight affects everything. It influences agriculture, energy use, and daily life. Now for some truly bizarre facts. The town of Nelson receives more sunshine than any other place in the country. It basks in over 2,500 hours of sunshine annually. Meanwhile, the West Coast can have weeks of solid rain. This creates a sunshine lottery for residents. Your weather experience depends entirely on your location. The Canterbury Plains are a geological wonder. They form New Zealand's largest area of flatland. These plains were built by massive glaciers. They deposited huge quantities of rock and sediment. The resulting land is incredibly fertile. It's now the nation's breadbasket for agriculture. Off the coast, the underwater geography is just as dramatic. The Kermadec Trench is one of the deepest ocean trenches. It plunges to a depth of 10,047 meters. That's deep enough to submerge Mount Everest with room to spare. This trench is part of the same subduction zone that creates the volcanoes. The entire country is part of this active system. The Hauraki Gulf contains some unique islands. Little Barrier Island is a protected sanctuary. It's never been invaded by predatory mammals. This makes it a time capsule of pre-human ecology. You can hear bird songs there that vanished elsewhere. It's a glimpse into the original soundscape of New Zealand. The country's position on the globe makes it the first to see the sun. The East Cape town of Gisborne is the first major city to greet the new day. Each morning, its residents witness sunrise before almost anyone else. This fact has deep cultural significance for Maori. It connects the land to the creation story of Maui fishing up the North Island. The South Island has its own unique claim to fame. It's home to the largest dark sky reserve in the Southern Hemisphere. The Aoraki Mackenzie International Dark Sky Reserve offers unparalleled stargazing. Light pollution is strictly controlled here. On a clear night, the Milky Way is brilliantly visible. You can see celestial objects invisible from most of the world. Let's talk about the unusual sand. On the west coast of the North Island, you find black sand beaches. The sand is rich in iron, giving it its distinctive color. This sand is eroded from the volcanic rock of Mount Taranaki. It's carried by rivers to the coast. The magnetic properties of the iron sand are so strong you can move it with a magnet. Meanwhile, in the South Island, you'll find a beach made of spherical boulders. The Meraki boulders are perfectly round stones scattered along the coast. These concretions formed over millions of years on the sea floor. They were exposed as the surrounding softer rock eroded away. They look like giant marbles left by some ancient civilization. The country's largest glacier is a sight to behold. The Tasman Glacier is 27 kilometers long and up to 4 kilometers wide. Yet it's rapidly retreating due to climate change. A large lake has formed at its terminal face. This lake didn't exist 50 years ago. The glacier's retreat is a visible sign of global warming. New Zealand's largest national park is a wilderness giant, Fiordland. National Park covers over 1.2 million hectares. It's one of the largest national parks in the world. Its size exceeds many small countries. The park contains entire valleys that have never felt a human footstep. It remains one of the planet's last true wilderness areas. The country sits directly on the Pacific Ring of Fire. This belt of volcanic and seismic activity circles the Pacific Ocean. New Zealand experiences around 15,000 earthquakes each year. Most are too small to be felt, but some are significant. The 2011 Christchurch earthquake was a tragic reminder of this activity. The Marlborough Sounds are a drowned river system. This complex network of sea-drowned valleys was created when sea levels rose. The result is a breathtaking landscape of hills and water. There are over 1,500 kilometers of coastline within the Sounds. The waterway is a maze of hidden bays and secluded beaches. Lake Taupo's volcanic history is fearsome. Its Oruanui eruption 26,500 years ago was the world's most recent super eruption. It ejected so much material that it lowered the global temperature. The ash from this eruption can still be found throughout the country. The volcano remains active today, though currently dormant. The country's longest walking track is epic. The Te Araroa Trail stretches 3,000 kilometers from Cape Reinga to Bluff. It takes most walkers several months to complete the entire journey. The trail connects existing tracks into one continuous pathway. It showcases the incredible diversity of New Zealand's landscapes. New Zealand has its own continental shelf. The Zealandia continent has a shelf that extends far beyond the current coastlines. During ice ages, when sea levels were lower, much more land was exposed. This created land bridges between the main islands. It also connected New Zealand to many of its offshore islands. The country's territorial waters are vast. Its exclusive economic zone is the fifth largest in the world. It covers over 4 million square kilometers of ocean. This is 15 times the land area of the entire country. These waters contain rich fishing grounds and potential mineral resources. The Cook Strait between the islands is notoriously rough. It connects the Tasman Sea to the Pacific Ocean. Different weather systems and tidal patterns collide here. This creates some of the most unpredictable waters in the world. The ferry crossing can be a dramatic experience for travelers. The country's highest waterfall is a hidden gem. Sutherland Falls in Fiordland plunges 580 meters in 3 cascades. It's one of the tallest waterfalls in the world. Yet, it's located in a remote valley, accessible only by a multi-day hike. This isolation has preserved its pristine beauty. New Zealand's largest river by volume is the Clutha River. It drains the massive snowfields of the Southern Alps. Its powerful current carries bright blue meltwater to the sea. The river is harnessed for hydroelectric power. Its distinctive color comes from finely ground rock flour from the glaciers. The country has an incredible number of lakes. There are over 3,800 lakes larger than a hectare in size. The North Island's lakes are mostly volcanic in origin. The South Island's lakes are largely glacial. This creates 2 completely different lake landscapes within one small nation. The braided rivers of Canterbury are a unique ecosystem. These rivers spread into multiple channels across wide shingle beds. They constantly change course with each flood. This dynamic environment creates habitat for specialized birds. The entire system is a complex and ever-changing geographical feature. The country's northernmost point is spiritually significant. Cape Reinga is where the Tasman Sea and Pacific Ocean meet. You can often see a visible line where the 2 bodies of water collide. In Maori tradition, this is the place where spirits depart for the afterlife. The geography is deeply woven into the culture.